The crash and the cold, the stars were silent. The ice world below was not. Ryan's ship tore through the atmosphere like a drunk meteor. Alarms screamed in his ears. He pulled hard on the controls, but the engines were dead. Smoke filled the cockpit. Flames danced on the window. The only thing louder than the warning sirens was his own heart. "This is how I die, frozen and on fire at the same time?" he muttered. Then crash, metal bent, glass shattered, snow exploded in all directions. The ship skidded across the icy ground like a metal coffin on a slide. Silence. Ryan blinked. He was upside down, alive, cold, very cold. "Okay, small win. I'm not dead yet," he whispered. He crawled out of the wreck, slipping on the ice. The wind slapped him like it hated his face. The sky above was gray, endless, and cold as death. He checked his gear. Half fried. Emergency beacon? Dead. Food. Rations? 2 protein bars and a bottle of hope. Temperature? Minus everything. Ryan stumbled away from the wreck, hoping to find shelter. His body was shaking, teeth chattering. He could feel the cold crawling into his bones. Then he saw something. Movement. A figure in the distance. Tall. Walking toward him. "Hey, over here," he shouted, waving his arms. The figure didn't wave back, just kept walking, no, marching toward him. Something felt off. As the figure got closer, Ryan's eyes widened. It was not human. The creature was tall, armored, with glowing blue eyes and skin the color of old silver. Long white hair blew in the wind. Her face looked like a sculpture, sharp, cold, and powerful. Ryan tried to take a step back, but his legs gave out. The cold had won. Just before he blacked out, he heard a sharp voice say, "Stupid human. Can't even survive one night." Darkness. He woke up in a dim cave, wrapped in something warm and heavy. A strange heat pulsed around him. His fingers moved again. He was alive. And he wasn't alone. Across the small cave, sitting by a blue flame, was the alien woman. She had a long spear across her lap and was sharpening it with something that looked like a bone. Ryan coughed. Hi?" She looked at him like he was a cockroach with opinions. "You snore loud," she said. "Thanks for saving me." Ryan said. "I didn't do it for you," she replied. "I did it because your frozen corpse would attract ice beasts." "Oh, right. Good to know." She stood and walked toward him. She was tall, really tall. Her shadow stretched across the cave wall like a warning. "You want to live?" she asked. "Yeah, that'd be nice." "Then shut up. Human, we're freezing." "Get in my bed now." Ryan blinked. "Excuse me." She rolled her eyes like he was the idiot. "Not for fun. For heat. Body warmth. It's basic science, even for your species." He looked over at the bed, a pile of animal furs and heat stones. Then he looked at her. "'Kay, but just so you know, I like my personal space. I don't care. Get in." Ryan crawled under the furs next to her, still slightly confused, mostly terrified, and 100% cold. She turned her back to him and mumbled something in her language that sounded very much like, "Weak little hairless meat creature." "By the way," he said softly, "do you have a name?" She was silent for a moment. "Zara, I'm Ryan. I didn't ask." The night passed with howling wind outside and awkward silence inside. Ryan couldn't sleep. He stared at the cave ceiling, thinking, who was Zara? Why was she here alone, on this deadly planet? She looked like a soldier, not a survivor. Her armor was damaged, but still strong. And her eyes, they held too many secrets. "I don't suppose you know how to fix a spaceship?" he asked. "I don't suppose you know how to shut up?" she replied. Nice. By morning, the wind had slowed. Ryan stretched and sat up. Zara was already up, gathering frozen plants from the cave entrance. He walked over. "So, what now?" Zara didn't look at him. "You help me. You work. You survive. What about calling for help?" She glanced at him sharply. "No signals. No contact. No rescue." Ryan frowned. "Why?" Zara's voice was ice. "Because I am not supposed to be found." Ryan opened his mouth to ask more but stopped. Her expression said one thing very clearly. "Do not ask questions you're not ready to die for." Far above them, in the sky, a small blinking red light appeared. Someone, or something, had received a signal. But who? The unlikely roommate's morning came without light. The ice planet didn't do sunshine, just layers of thick gray sky and the soft crunch of falling frost. Inside the cave, a faint blue glow from alien firestones kept the cold away, but not the tension. Ryan sat cross-legged on a flat rock, chewing what might have been alien moss jerky. It tasted like rubber and regret. Across from him, Zara cleaned her weapon with slow, precise movements. Her eyes stayed on him, like she expected him to explode or melt at any moment. So Ryan tried to break the silence. Do you guys always eat tree bark? Or is this a special occasion? Zara didn't even blink. It's protein-rich. Better than what your species calls cheeseburgers. Hey, cheeseburgers built empires. She tilted her head slightly. Your empires fell, didn't they? Ryan sighed. Okay, fine. You win the sarcasm contest. Silence again. He looked around the cave. Smooth rock walls, supplies neatly packed, small tech pieces scattered on a metal crate. He hadn't noticed them the night before. Zara caught his stare. Don't touch anything. Touch what? Ryan smiled innocently. You mean this ancient, suspicious-looking box of alien secrets? She was already on her feet before he finished the sentence. I said don't, she growled, stepping between him and the crate. She towered over him like a glacier about to fall. Ryan held up his hands. Okay, chill. Zara didn't move. Her eyes narrowed. You joke too much. Jokes are useless in Survive. Ryan stood. His voice was calm, but firm. Humor keeps me sane. Or would you rather I start crying and screaming every 10 minutes? That helps survival? For the first time, a small flicker, something in Zara's face. Not quite a smile, but maybe the ghost of one. She turned and went back to her corner without another word. Hours passed. They worked in silence. Zara sharpened weapons and reinforced the cave entrance with thick frost stones. Ryan sorted what little tech remained from his crashed ship. His tools were mostly fried. The radio? Dead. The power cell? Barely alive. Still, he fiddled. Zara watched, arms crossed. That junk won't save you. It's not for saving. It's for distracting me from losing my mind, he muttered. But then a faint signal blip. His damaged scanner chirped. Ryan's eyes widened. That's strange. Zara was instantly at his side. What did you do? Nothing. It just blinked. See? He showed her the screen. A pulsing dot. Just for a second. Then gone. Zara's face turned pale then angry. She snatched the scanner and smashed it against the wall. Hey! Ryan shouted. That was the only working piece I had. You don't understand, she snapped. You didn't see a signal. You saw a shadow. What does that even mean? Zara paced the cave like a caged predator. There are things on this planet. Things that hear signals, smell electricity. You call, they come, and they don't knock. Ryan stared at her. What are they? Zara stopped, looked at him. For once, no sarcasm, no anger, just fear. They were built to destroy, left behind by a war no one remembers. But they still move, still hunt, especially when something new appears like your crash. Ryan swallowed hard. So I'm basically a flare in the dark. Exactly. And now, you've made us both a target. Later that night, Ryan lay awake under the heavy furs. Zara was beside him, silent and still, her armor off, her skin faintly glowing in the firelight. She looked less like a soldier now, more like a lost soul. Can I ask you something? Ryan whispered. No, he ignored her. Why are you here? I mean, really here. Not the I'm exiled so I could brood on an iceball story. The truth. Zara didn't move for a long time. Then she spoke. I refuse to kill. Ryan blinked. What? My people. They follow orders. Always. I was a commander. We were told to destroy a colony, small, peaceful, unarmed. I disobeyed. I tried to stop it. She turned her head to look at him. They punished me, called me a traitor, sent me here to die alone. Ryan's throat tightened. That's awful. She looked away. No, That's war. In the middle of the night, a distant howl echoed across the ice. Not a wolf. Not a beast. Something mechanical. Zara sat up immediately. It heard the signal. She grabbed her spear and tossed Ryan a thermal blade. We may need to move. Move where? Everything out there wants to eat or freeze us. Zara pointed beyond the cave. There's a place. A deep trench. Hidden. Dangerous, but quiet. Old ruins. We go before it finds us. Ryan looked toward the howling wind outside, then back at the faint blue flame beside him. He grabbed his jacket. Well, this was the worst vacation ever anyway. They stepped into the storm. Far behind them, a massive figure moved through the snow. 8 feet tall, half machine, half nightmare. Red eyes scanned the frost. Long claws dragged across the ground, cutting deep lines into the ice. It stopped at the mouth of the now empty cave. It sniffed the air and smiled. Heat, hunger, and hints of truth. Trench was death in disguise. Ryan stared into the steep drop ahead. It cut through the ice like a scar, wide and deep. Wind roared through it like a dragon trapped underground. This is your idea of safe? He asked, tightening the straps of his gear. Zara stood beside him, spear slung across her back. Face as calm as ever. It's not safe. It's just not screaming. She jumped in without another word. Ryan looked at the edge, sighed, and muttered, why is it always the badass ones who don't believe in stairs? He climbed down awkwardly, slipping twice, nearly face planting into a chunk of alien bone. Yes, bone, lots of them. The trench was filled with twisted remains, metal structures, ancient bones, fossilized creatures that looked like dinosaurs with armor plating. Zara moved like she knew the place. Ryan followed cautiously, scanning everything. Where are we? He asked. Old battleground. Leftovers of the first war between my people and something else. Long before humans ever reached the stars. He looked around. And you thought, hey, what a great spot for a winter picnic. She stopped suddenly, her hand shot up. Quiet. They listened. Click, click, click. Something moved. In the shadows. Big, fast. Zara raised her spear. Ryan reached for his thermal blade and dropped it. Oops. From the dark ice tunnel ahead, a massive shape lunged. 7 feet tall, 4 legs, covered in spiked fur. Its eyes glowed red. Its mouth opened in 3 directions, showing rows of circular teeth. Zara threw her spear. The creature dodged, fast as lightning. Move, she shouted. Ryan dove behind a rock as the beast slammed into Zara. Claws out, she rolled, grabbed a shard of metal, and stabbed it deep into the beast's shoulder. It shrieked an awful mix of mechanical echo and real pain. It knocked her back, pinned her to the ground. Ryan saw her struggle, and without thinking, he jumped onto the creature's back. Hey, furface, pick on something with way less muscle. The creature thrashed. Ryan jammed a heated tool into its neck, and the metal hissed. Zara used the moment to grab her blade and slash clean through its throat. The creature collapsed, twitching. They both lay in the snow, gasping. Ryan turned to her. Next time, maybe you distract the ice monster and I get crushed second. Zara actually chuckled. You scream well, like a dying air horn. Thanks, I practice. They dragged the creature's body into a nearby ice alcove. Its meat was edible, sort of. Smelled like burnt rubber and battery acid. Still, hunger didn't leave many options. As Ryan cut strips of meat, he noticed a faint glow coming from Zara's arm. A tattoo? No, it was moving. She saw him looking and quickly pulled her sleeve down. What's that? He asked. Nothing. Definitely not nothing. It was glowing. Zara hesitated, then sighed. It's a tracking mark. The exile kind. If I ever try to leave this planet, they'll find me, kill me. Ryan paused. Wait, so, even if we survive this, you're stuck here? She nodded. Unless I remove it. But the tech is buried deep. Dangerous. Ryan leaned forward. I might be able to help. Zara frowned. You can't even cook monster meat without setting it on fire. That's fair. But tech is my thing. Let me try. She hesitated, then slowly pulled up her sleeve again. The tattoo was embedded under her skin, pulsing faint blue. Lines of alien script ran along her veins. Ryan studied it. This is biotech. Old. Half organic. But it's talking to something, some kind of satellite link. Zara's eyes narrowed. Which means, if we cut the connection, it might stop working. You'll need tools, and probably not a monster tooth and a rock. That night, they made camp inside a broken alien tank buried in the ice. Zara sat across from him, sharpening a second blade. She hadn't spoken much since the fight. Ryan looked at her. "Why'd you save me?" She didn't look up. "You were screaming." "No, really. Why not just let me die and keep moving?" Zara finally met his eyes. "Because I've done enough leaving people behind." Something heavy passed between them. A silence. But not a bad one. He nodded slowly. "Okay, then I won't leave you either. Deal?" She blinked. "You're strange, human. I get that a lot." In the dead of night, Ryan awoke to a low sound buzzing. He checked the small scanner he'd hidden inside his bag. It was barely alive, but still picking up signals. Something was moving toward them, slowly, but huge. Ryan froze. The machine from the cave. The one that smiled. He shook Zara awake. "We have a problem." She blinked, grabbed her blade, and stared at the scanner. Her face turned to steel. "We don't have much time. What is that thing?" She stood. "A sentinel, left from the war. It doesn't stop. It doesn't sleep. It just deletes." Ryan swallowed hard. "How do we kill it?" Zara looked at him. "We don't. We run." Far above, the ice cracked under heavy feet. The sentinel had found the trench. Its eyes scanned the surface, and then it turned toward them. A signal and a betrayal. Snow crunched under their boots as Ryan and Zara moved through the trench ruins like ghosts. The wind had died, but the silence wasn't peace. It was pressure. Somewhere out there, the sentinel was hunting. Big, ancient, and patient. Ryan glanced back at Zara, who was moving quietly but fast, like a wolf who'd memorized every shadow. "Are you sure it didn't see us?" he whispered. Zara didn't slow. "It always sees. It just chooses when to kill." "Wow, that's calming." They ducked into a broken structure half buried in ice, some kind of old alien bunker. It was dark, dry, and sealed. Safe. For now. Zara set up a small perimeter alarm using jagged bone and a glowing ore. Ryan didn't ask how it worked. He just assumed it beeped if death walked by. He sat on a rusted crate, breathing hard. "So, assuming we live long enough, still want me to try disabling that tracker in your arm?" Zara glanced down at the glowing veins. "Yes, but not here." "Why not?" She paused. "Because it's not just a tracker, it's also a beacon. It calls others." Ryan stared. "Others? Like the sentinel?" "No, worse." As night fell, Zara dozed off against the wall, blade in hand. Ryan couldn't sleep. He kept staring at the half-functioning power cell from his crashed ship. It had one last burst left. One. Next to it was a damaged alien transceiver, part of the bunker's original equipment, and beside that, his tiny, secret project. He'd been working on it for days, quietly, carefully. Guilt gnawing at him like frostbite. It was a signal booster, rigged to tap into Zara's tracker. If he could just get it powered, he could send a message. To humans. To anyone. To home. He looked at Zara. She had saved his life 3 times now, risked everything, but he still didn't know if he could trust her. He didn't know if they'd survive another week, and he definitely didn't want to die out here. He looked at the device. 1 button. That's all it would take. Click. A quiet hum. The transceiver lit up. A pulse shot into the air, silent, invisible. Ryan held his breath. Then, silence. No explosion. No sentinel. No instant doom. He sighed in relief and turned to shut it down, but Zara was awake, watching him, and her face looked like stone. Cold, unblinking stone. "What did you do?" she asked softly. Ryan stood slowly. "Zara, wait. Let me explain. What did you do?" She was on her feet in a blank, spear drawn. Ryan backed up. I just sent out a short range SOS. I boosted the tracker. It only pinged local satellites. Nothing global, I swear. You activated it. Her voice was dead flat. Her eyes? Not dead at all. They burned. Zara, I had to. What if no one ever comes? What if this is all there is? She stepped forward. Do you know why they left me here, human? You said it was because you disobeyed. They left me here, she said, voice shaking. Because I knew a secret. Something they would kill to protect. That beacon wasn't just tracking me. It was silencing me. Ryan's mouth went dry. What secret? Zara lowered her weapon, and finally, for the first time, she told the truth. My people were planning to destroy Earth. Ryan froze. She went on. A quiet purge, not open war, a strategic extinction. They saw your kind as unstable, uncontrollable, but I saw potential, creativity, chaos. Yes, but also something pure, alive. I leaked the plan to the humans. A warning. That was my betrayal. Ryan was silent. Her voice softened. They used the tracker not just to monitor me, but to bury the signal I sent. They don't know I survived the exile. If they get your ping, they'll come. Not for rescue, for erasure. Ryan stepped back. I didn't know. I wanted to go home. Zara looked away. You already were home. With me. Surviving. Building. Breathing. He felt the words hit. Heavy. Real. And then, far above a roar out a beast. Not the sentinel, but an engine. Zara's head snapped up. You idiot. They heard. Ryan turned and ran to the bunker entrance. He peered into the sky. Lights. Multiple. Faint, but growing. Ships. Zara grabbed her bag and weapons. We move. Now, Ryan followed, guilt flooding his stomach like acid. I'll fix this, he said. No, Zara replied. You broke it. Now, you get to survive it. They fled through the trench, past bones and old machines. Behind them, the sky cracked open. A sleek alien warship broke through the clouds like a silent blade. Black, fast, furious, and worse it was. Not alone. 3 more followed. And O flags. No warnings. Just one purpose. Erasure. They reached a high ridge. Zara pointed below. There, emergency catacombs. War hideouts. We lose them in the tunnels. Ryan nodded and turned to help her climb. Boom. A blast hit the ice nearby. The ground shook. Ryan slipped, fell, crashed into a ledge and rolled down the side. Zara yelled his name, but her voice was lost in the thunder. He hit the ground hard. Vision spinning. Above him, the sky swirled with fire. He blinked, tried to move. Something massive landed beside him. Metal feet. A red glow, not a ship. The Sentinel.it had followed the signal too. Of course, it had .it turned toward him, stared, raised. One long, jagged arm. Ryan braced for impact, but instead clang, a blade hit the Sentinel's arm. Sparks flew. Zara leapt into the fight with the battle cry that echoed through the trench. You don't touch what's mine. The rescue or the raid? The sky was on fire. 4 alien warships tore through the clouds above like eagles descending on prey. Their hulls gleamed black and silver, almost invisible against the storm clouds until they opened fire. Ice exploded around Ryan's body as the first plasma cannon struck near the trench. Shards shot past his face. The cold burned. The Sentinel loomed above him, its massive mechanical form humming with deadly purpose. And then Zara crashed into the machine like a meteor. She slashed upward with her curved blade, cutting sparks out of its knee joint. The Sentinel stumbled just for a second, but that was all she needed. Move, human, she shouted. Ryan rolled just in time as the Sentinel's claw slammed into the ground where his head had been. He scrambled to his feet, grabbed a broken pole, and jabbed it into the exposed wiring in the Sentinel's leg. Electricity cracked. It roared. Not a scream, not a sound of pain. Just rage. Zara was already climbing onto its back like she'd done this before. Blade in hand, she jammed it deep into the upper spine. Sparks shot from its neck. It jerked once then flung her off like a toy. She hit the ice with a grunt. Ryan rushed to her. You okay? I said move. Not babysit, she snapped, pushing herself up. The Sentinel turned again. Zara grabbed a thermal grenade from her belt and shoved it into Ryan's hands. Stick it in the neck port. The moment it crouches. He looked at her like she was nuts. You want me to get close to that thing again? She smiled not sweetly. You want to fix what you broke, right? Ryan groaned. Of course, the apology comes with the suicide mission. He ran. The sentinel crouched again, readying a second attack. Ryan ducked under its sweeping arm, rolled between its legs, and jumped onto the side of its knee like a rock climber in a Sci-Fi nightmare. The port on its neck glowed faint blue. He shoved the grenade in. Beep, beep, beep. He dropped down. Boom. The explosion rocked the trench. The sentinel held metal cracking, blue fire pouring from its mouth. It staggered, then it fell, like a giant tree collapsing in slow motion. Zara walked over, panting. That was almost impressive. Ryan smiled. You know, for a soft, squishy, panic-prone human, you're still squishy, she said. They didn't get to celebrate. A deep hum filled the air. The ships above were lowering now, landing gear hissing, wings shifting into turret mode. Zara's face darkened. They're not coming to check. They're coming to clean. Ryan stepped back. So this is it, huh? No rescue, just execution. Zara looked at him. Not if we steal their ship. Ryan blinked. You what now? She pointed toward the nearest vessel, which was setting down just past the ridge. I know that model. One of the elite squads. They're fast, but not smart. You saying we can outwit an elite alien strike force? She gave him a sideways glance. I'm saying, I can. You're just emotional fuel. Fair. They made their move as the strike team disembarked 7 elite soldiers in black adaptive armor. Zara pulled Ryan into the shadows of a broken structure and whispered the plan. We distract them, split them, take out to quietly, steal their codes, infiltrate the ship. That's it? She smirked. You want a complicated plan with charts? Kinda, yeah, but she was already moving. The first soldier fell without a sound, Zara's blade sliding clean between armor plates. The second wasn't as lucky. He screamed just before Ryan shocked him with a power spike and nearly electrocuted himself in the process. Wow, Ryan wheezed. I just accidentally invented alien taser foo. Zara rolled her eyes. They dragged the bodies behind a pillar and scanned their gear. Zara found a code chip. Her face lit up. This gives us 2 minutes of clearance before it resets. We can board the ship. Ryan looked at the others regrouping near the ship. What about them? Zara grabbed her last grenade. They won't follow if they're unconscious. She lobbed it toward the squad. Boom, a blinding flash and sound burst erupted. Alarm screamed. Zara grabbed Ryan's wrist. Run. They sprinted across the ice. Blasts hit the ground beside them. The ship's ramp began to close. Zara dove inside. Ryan slipped then slid like a penguin straight into the cargo bay. The ramp sealed behind them. For a moment silence. Then the internal lights flickered on. A voice echoed overhead. Unauthorized access detected. Identity not verified. Zara punched in the override code. The ship paused. Override accepted. Welcome, Commander Z9. Ryan turned to her, eyes wide. Wait, Commander, Zara sighed. I didn't say. I was low rank. They lifted off. Below, the strike team fired at the sky. Inside the ship, Ryan slumped against the wall. So, we're alive. Stolen alien warship. About to be chased across the galaxy. Any chance things calm down from here? Zara walked to the cockpit. Then she stopped. A message was blinking on the console. Encrypted. Ancient. She opened it and froze. Ryan leaned over. What is it? Zara's voice was low. This ship was never sent for me. Ryan frowned. What do you mean? This ship was tracking you. Silence. What? Zara turned slowly. Her eyes locked on his. Someone on Earth sent this squad. They wanted you dead. Or captured. Ryan felt the floor tilt under him. No, that's not possible. Why? I'm no one. Zara stepped forward. No, Ryan. You're not no one. She held up a projection. It was a file. Old. Human military. His name was on it. Your crash. It wasn't an accident. You were planted. The secret weapon, the stolen alien warship, glided low over the frozen planet, like a predator looking for prey. Inside the cockpit, Ryan stared at the glowing screen that had just turned his world upside down. A file, his name, a military classification, a redacted block of information under the heading, Project Echo, Human Interface Prototype 01. Ryan's voice shook. I don't understand. I was a ship mechanic, a tech grunt. I fixed engines. I wasn't anything special. Zara didn't look away from him. Her tone was cautious. Careful, no, Ryan. You weren't just fixing ships. You were the ship. He blinked. What? She tapped the screen. Project Echo was rumored to be a Terran experiment linking human neurology to quantum machines. Living code. A hybrid soldier, half flesh, half data. Designed to survive, even after death. Ryan stepped back. No, that's not me. I bleed. I bruise. I feel. I'm not some weapon. Zara said nothing. But her eyes. They told him the part that hurt. She wasn't sure anymore either. They followed the coordinates hidden in the stolen ship's database. An unmarked zone beneath the ice. Deep trench. No structures. No signals. But something ancient was pulsing below. Zara brought the ship to a hover. Whatever's down there, she said, was locked away a long time ago. Ryan checked the readings. Energy signature is massive. It's buried under 2 kilometers of solid ice. She tossed him a thermal drill launcher. Then we start digging, right? Because what's a little global apocalypse between new friends? The dig took hours. Zara cut through ice like a warrior possessed. Ryan worked the tools in silence, his mind spinning. Project Echo? Human prototype? Why had he been on that ship? And why couldn't he remember anything before his last assignment? He hadn't thought about it until now. Wasn't that weird? Wasn't that wrong? They hit metal, not ship metal structure. A door. Huge. Round. Covered in glowing alien glyph S.A.S. Ryan approached. It lit up, reading him, then opened. Zara looked at him. It recognized you. Ryan swallowed. Awesome. Definitely not terrifying. At all. They stepped inside. The facility was vast. Silent. Frozen. Like a cathedral built by a race of machines long dead. Inside were pods. Dozens. Maybe hundreds. Each one containing something humanoid. Not alive. Not dead. Stored. Like weapons on standby. Zara walked past them, her spear tight in her grip. This is a vault. A prototype base. Echo Tech. Your people. They built this. No, Ryan whispered. They buried it. They reached the control core. A huge sphere of pulsing energy floated above a broken console. As Ryan approached, it spoke. Not aloud. In his mind. Welcome back, Echo Unit 01. Ryan dropped to his knees, hands clutching his head. Memories hit like lightning. Not his. Not exactly. Flashes. Battles. Missions. Moments of death and waking again. He wasn't built to die. He was built to reset. A soldier on loop. Zara grabbed him, shook him. Ryan, stay with me. His voice was a whisper. They used me over and over. Sent me to wars. Wiped me. Sent me again. She looked at the sphere. You're not a weapon anymore. You're a person. I'm both, he said. And this place. This is what they were afraid of. If this tech got out, no one could ever control you again, she finished. Then the facility shook. Above them, explosions. The remaining warships had followed. They were dropping drills, preparing to breach the vault. They're not here to stop the weapon, Ryan said. They're here to destroy me. Zara's eyes flashed. Then we fight. They set traps throughout the facility, old energy cells, crumbling hallway doors, gravity panels rigged to short out under pressure. Ryan accessed the vault's remaining defenses. Some still worked. Drones, turrets, automated walls that crushed intruders like angry elevators. Zara stood by the entrance, ready. He turned to her. You don't have to stay. I didn't have to save you. I didn't have to believe you. But I did. She looked at him with something rare. Faith. And maybe more. The enemy breached. A dozen elite soldiers stormed in, better armored, better equipped, and absolutely, positively ready to kill. The first wave triggered. The gravity trap slammed to the floor like pancake bots. Zara dropped from the ceiling like a vengeful comet, taking out 2 more with a spin blade sweep. Ryan activated the drones. They hummed to life, blasting the hallway with blue fire, but the soldiers kept coming. One reached the core chamber. Ryan faced him. The soldier paused, confused. "Sir?" Ryan blinked. "What?" The soldier lowered his weapon. "Echo 01. We weren't told you were still active. Orders were to secure or erase." Zara shot him in the back. Ryan looked at her. He was surrendering. "He wasn't," she said. "He was stalling. Look." She pointed to the small signal transmitter on his arm broadcasting their location. "More ships incoming. Dozens." Ryan turned to the core. There was only one option now. He could overload it, destroy the base, the tech, the prototypes, and himself. End the threat forever. Zara read the thought in his eyes. "No, there has to be another way." Ryan smiled faintly. "There's always a way, but it's not always a good one." He reached for the panel. Zara grabbed his hand. "I didn't fight for you to die. You didn't fight for me. You fought for the person I chose to be." "And who is that?" she whispered. Ryan looked into her eyes. "Someone who wants to stop being a weapon." He turned back to the core. Fingers hovered over the final command. The screen asked, "Echo 01, reset or release?" He chose release. The pods around the facility powered down. All dormant units gone. Memory banks erased. Weapon program shut down. Ryan had freed them. All of them, including himself. The facility began collapsing. Ryan and Zara ran, dodging falling debris and the final few soldiers trying to escape the chaos. As they burst out into the open air, the vault exploded behind them. Ice split. Smoke filled the sky. The planet groaned. And then, silence. Real, honest silence. For the first time in years, maybe in his life, Ryan felt free. On the stolen ship, they stared out the window as the vault buried itself under new snowfall. Zara looked at him. "You erased everything, even your old self." "I kept the best part," he said. "What's that?" He smiled. "You." Final fight and freedom. The ship hung in low orbit, just beyond the cloud line of the ice planet. Below them, the ancient Echo Vault lay buried beneath rubble and silence. Above them, a swarm of warships. Zara stood at the controls, eyes scanning the data. 7 cruisers, full fleet, no distress signal, no communication. Ryan leaned on the console beside her. "So, they're not here to talk. They're here to finish what I interrupted years ago," she replied. "Erase the Echo Project. Erase anyone who knows." Ryan stared at the glowing screen. "Including me." Zara turned to him. "Especially you." They had maybe an hour before the fleet entered atmosphere. Weapons were charging. Scans were active. Zara's stolen ship was cloaked, but it wouldn't stay hidden for long. Ryan rubbed the side of his head. He could still feel the echo of the AI core in his brain. Quiet now, like a song he almost remembered. "I can still interface with their systems," he said softly. Zara raised an eyebrow. "You want to hack a battle fleet?" "Not just hack it," he said, standing taller. "Hijack it." Zara stared at him. "That's insane." "Yeah," Ryan grinned, "but it might be just insane enough to work." The plan: Ryan would remotely connect to the enemy fleet using buried Echo code still lingering in his neural pathways. If he could override their command systems, they could force the ships into standby long enough to escape. The catch: the code wasn't just locked behind firewalls. It was locked behind Ryan's memories, the ones Echo had wiped again and again. To access the command keys, he'd have to dive deep into himself. If he failed, his mind would crash permanently. Zara hated it instantly. "I just got you to stop dying every 5 minutes," she snapped. "Now you want to plug into a death drive?" Ryan nodded. "Sounds on brand for me." "Yeah." Zara stepped close. Her voice dropped. "If you don't come back," he interrupted gently, "then tell the galaxy I went out doing something good. Something real." A pause. A heartbeat. Then she pulled him into a kiss. Fierce. Final. Like it carried every battle they'd survived. "You better come back, human." "I'll try," he said, strapping in. Ryan lay back on the neural chair, wires connected to his temples. Lights pulsed, the ship hummed, then darkness. He fell into a storm, not of weather but of memories, broken fragments of himself flying past. Battles, deaths, brief laughter, a child's voice, a woman screaming, tech, weapons, blood. Then a voice, Echo 01, final command line recognized. Initiate override? Yes, Ryan whispered. Security protocol. Identity confirmation required. Show me who you really are. And just like that the walls dropped. Ryan remembered everything. His name had been Ryan, but he'd been born in a lab. Not to parents but to purpose. Tested, trained, rewired, erased. Each time he failed, they reset him. But once he escaped, he'd stolen a ship, tried to warn people, tried to run. They'd caught him, wiped him again. His crash on the ice planet hadn't been an accident. It was a controlled fall, a failed escape attempt rewritten as a mission. But even erased, some part of him had still fought, still clung to humanity. That's what saved him. That's what Zara saw. The command key appeared before him in the dream space, a glowing sphere, fragile, heavy. He reached out, grabbed it. Back in the real world, Zara watched as Ryan gasped, eyes flying open. I've got it, he said. He plugged the code into the console. One by one, the enemy fleet flickered on the screen, then dimmed. Cruiser after cruiser shut down, weapons going offline. Lights darkening, standby mode, initiated. They had 10 minutes before override expired. Zara didn't waste a second. We head to the outer system. Cloaked, low profile, never return. Ryan nodded, then paused. No, she turned. No, we're not just running. Zara raised an eyebrow. You have a better plan than not dying? Ryan pointed to the data. These ships, they aren't just war machines. They're evidence, proof of what your people did, what mine hid. Zara's eyes widened. He continued. We can't destroy them. We broadcast them to every colony, every channel, every station that's been fed a lie. Zara stared at him, then smiled slowly. You want to start a war? He shook his head. I want to start a revolution. They launched the data through the galaxy and filtered raw images of Zara's exile, footage from the Echo Vault, Ryan's recovered files, orders from high command on both sides. It would spread. It would burn, but it would wake people up. They jumped into deep space as the first enemy ships began rebooting. Their location was wiped. Their trail scrambled. For now, they were ghosts, free. Weeks passed. Zara and Ryan flew silent runs, hit deep space outposts, helped refugees, built networks. The galaxy was rumbling, old alliances crumbling, and whispered in the dark was a new name. The human and the exile. Heroes, traitors, or maybe something stranger, a symbol. One quiet night aboard their ship, Ryan stood alone at the window. Zara walked up beside him. You okay? She asked. He nodded. Still remembering, still forgetting. She rested a hand on his shoulder. You're not just Echo anymore, no? He said. Then turned to her. I'm not just human either. She tilted her head. Then what are you? He thought for a moment, then smiled. Alive. She smirked. And still annoying. You love it. Don't push it. They stared out the window. 2 runaways. 2 rebels. 1 human. 1 alien. No masters. No chains. No ice. Only stars. And freedom.